Hi, I'm Amanda Webb, and welcome to Her Time, Her Place. This is a podcast about women stepping into their moment, owning their place, and sharing what it really took to get there. In each episode, I'll sit down with women from all walks of life to explore the turning points, the moments of doubt, the decisions that changed everything, the people who showed up, and the lessons they've carried forward. Because so many of us have been told, or have quietly told ourselves, that it's not the time, it's not the place, not yet. This podcast is all about questioning that, choosing it anyway, and discovering what's possible when we do. Let's go. Hi there, I'm Amanda Webb, and welcome to not the first episode of Her Time, Her Place. I had planned to be recording my first episodes of Her Time, Her Place earlier this week. And then the lurgy came around and I've been knocked flat by the flu pretty much for the most of the week, which has meant some rescheduling with my guests for the recordings for episode 1 and 2. So, of course, that means I could have delayed the start of the podcast, Her Time, Her Place. But the irony of this was not lost on me. And I thought, how interesting is it that my recordings were planned and yet it wasn't the time, it wasn't the place, because the universe and health had her own plans. So I thought, wouldn't it be interesting to actually be real about that and share that, hey, not everything goes to plan, not even the first episode of your podcast. And having a conversation with a friend during the week, they were like, does this mean you can't put anything out? And the idea of me coming to camera and doing a initial not first episode, just with me talking to you about the ideas of this podcast, the why for me, seemed like a pretty cool idea actually. And now that I'm almost through the flu and you can only just hear it in my voice, I thought, why not come to the podcast and share a little bit about me, the ideas behind Her Time, Her Place, and see if that builds a bit of connection with community out there and some realness. It also made me think that in this day and age where there is so much perfect Insta or fake news and you can't determine what's AI and what's not. Actually, if I came to camera talking like this with still that little bit of gritty, fluey stuff going on and shared with you that the plans weren't perfect, you'd actually get to see something that was real and you'd know this was real, that it's certainly not AI generated and that lack of perfection that can still be embraced. So that is why I am here sharing this first not episode with you. So my name's Amanda Webb. I have a few different hats. First and foremost, I like to think of myself as a great mum to my daughter Olivia and also a step parent to Ava and Jensen. I hope I'm a really great partner to my beloved Trent and a good friend to those who are in my life and in my community. I've spent the last 30 plus years working in a range of organizations and corporations, and for the last 21 years, I have been working in the arena of diversity and inclusion, but really specializing around supporting women, advancing their careers. And I have an absolute passion and love of women and come up all the time with these situations where women who are extraordinary will not see that in themselves, who will undervalue who they are, where they're at, their capability, their competence, their skills, their contribution. And I'm at that point where I'm like, I want to showcase some of these extraordinary women who see themselves just as a really solid human being contributing to the world. I want to showcase those women. I also have spent a lot of time with women, quite often one-on-one in executive coaching and in conversations, and also in my not-for-profit work, talking to women who are so ready to do the next thing or to take on something new or to contribute in a different way or a bigger way, and yet they can't see that in themselves. They feel like they have to wait for something. That could be wait for themselves to be perfect at something, wait for someone to tap them on the shoulder and say, hey, you're ready. Wait for the kids to have finished school so that they can then, take on more of a priority in their own lives. Wait for. And I think I'm a little bit tired of seeing so many women wait for or prolong that next step or that next adventure or that next opportunity for themselves. I get it. Don't get me wrong. I absolutely understand all the whys in behind it, but it's made me think about her time and her place. Do we need to wait around for this time and place? I don't think we do. But also, if we want to do that, that's fine as well. But I think sometimes we miss the time and the place, or just because it's not perfect, then we pass up the opportunity or we step over, move around it, hand it even to someone else. And I really believe that there are times when women could just go, just do it. It doesn't have to be perfect, kind of like doing your first, not episode of a podcast, because it's not perfect and it's not the perfect time, but do it anyway. Seth Godin is an amazing marketer, and Seth has this thing about just go. And I think that sometimes we could claim that a little bit more in our lives. So the idea of her time, her place in this podcast, I am going to be talking to women that I have invited to be my guests to talk about their life, their story, their journey, and share that with us, and to get them to think about the times when, hey, this was a time and a place where, I really stepped into it, or I arrived at this space and time and found that I was in my place, or unexpectedly I was in the right place at the right time, and share those stories with us. Also to talk about times when maybe they didn't feel like it was the time and or the place, and yet they stepped into it anyway, and how it turned out to be that for them. Because I don't think it's just one time. There's not just one time in our lives that we're at the time or in the place. That's not it. We have lots of moments in our lives where it's the time and the place where, these things come together. And so I want to be able to explore that with these extraordinary women. Being the women that they are, they will also want to share with us who was around that supported them to either see that, who opened the door, who encouraged them, who pushed them, who nurtured them through that, and what that takes to trust in others who might know what's right for you when you don't know what's right for yourself. And to have that sort of cheer squad, the supporters around you who, when you don't quite think you're ready or don't believe that the time is right for you, that someone else has got your back and is like, yep, no, you can do this. Go and do it. Like, this is so right for you, or you're the right person for this. I know that the women will share that in these stories as well. I also want them to talk about the things that were challenging along the way with their journey around finding the time, working through some of those places, knowingly or unknowingly, the adventures that arise from that. And not just uncovering the challenges, but also what it took from them to follow that endeavour, to really walk into it, to stay in it, to be there, and what the benefits were of going through that. What was it like on the other side? Did they have a chance to sit back and reflect and be able to, smell the roses, having knowledge that, hey, this has been one of those beautiful times and places for me, and I can cherish that for what it was, and I look forward to the next one as well. The women will share with you their wisdom through these journeys, and I'm hoping they also give us some really juicy, valuable, real pieces of advice that other women out there who are yet to, traverse their next time and place, give them some great little nuggets and wisdom around things to consider when we're feeling maybe a little bit unsure, a little bit unprepared, a little bit like, I haven't got everything perfect, but I want to go anyway. A bit like me, who's been wanting to do this podcast for nearly 12 months, who's owned the domain name for 12 months and paid the renewal fee on that, and gone, my God, Amanda, it is your time. It is a place and a space for you to own. So thanks for joining me for the first not episode, of Her Time, Her Place. Keep a watch for when the first episode does drop and look forward to spending time with me. Take care.